Icon Radio.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dorsila Ogola. Welcome to the Afterthought on Icon Radio KE. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely day. Mimi niko poa kabisa, najua mnashangaa MC Paps ako wapi. You know, after that heated discussion, what I had last week, the other week, I was just like, Paps, I need space. I need to think about it. I need to think about my life. I need to let him think about his life and all of that. So, ni mimi niko hapa leo. I hope mmenikaribisha kabisa. I'm not alone, as you can see. I am not alone. Here, I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we can just pick it up from there. Hey. And your Kenyan men.
Yes. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Kevin Maina, aka Maina Mind, pale mtandaoni, everywhere on social media. I am a wellness enthusiast. I am journalist at heart, student of life and of communication and media, which is what I'm studying. That's as much as I know about myself. So I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. Karibu sana. Welcome so much to the Afterthought. This is a show whereby we talk about amazing things that young people are going through. Some are sad, some are happy, but we have to speak about them in really interesting ways and fun ways. Yeah, because that's the only way to have these conversations in a very safe and just a space whereby there's no shame or guilt. So that's the Afterthought for us. And guys, if you haven't followed us on our social media, make sure you are on Icon Radio KE, follow Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all of that good stuff. Or you can catch this conversation every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to noon on www.iconradio.co.ke. So, Maina Mind, very big on social media. People love your content. People love your videos.
Yeah, I'm
I love them too, and when you're listening to them, you just feel like you're connecting with him, and you're connecting with his message as well. Because for a moment, you're like, you even forget the person, you focus on the content. So I don't know if that's your intention.
That's always the intention. I normally tell this to people because people are like, how do you do it? Most of the time, it's if you look at the videos, it's not that I'm saying anything new. It's just how I say it. You know what I mean? It's something that you already know. It's just me affirming what you already know. Because I'm telling you about rejection, it's part of life.
Yeah.
But it's me reminding you in a very, very connecting way that it is part of life.
Yeah.
So most of the time, in fact, the inspiration is mostly from interactions. I sit with you and you say something, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So people know this thing. These things, it's just how I tell it to them.
And I also do feel like it's energy because, and intent. Yeah.
Yes.
And all of those things, people talk about them and they're like, they don't exist. Yeah. There's a difference when someone comes and tell you you're beautiful, you're amazing. And there's a way you do it that feels like, wow, there's some good energy here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because also what I create, it's something that I can listen to. It's something that I really believe in. So by the time I'm creating, I'm in that headspace. In my room. From the curtains, just turn on that ring light in a very, very strategic way. Like it's one part of my face, you know what I mean?
Those are the effects that we love.
Take a moment and then talk to the camera. So it's an amazing,
And it's pretty awesome because we love it. We enjoy the content. We feel like it really inspires us and touches us. And on to today's discussion. Yesterday was Men's International Day. Yeah, we were just celebrating men. And I don't know were you celebrated yesterday? Did you feel it the way you'd probably feel it on the way you'd know it's Mother's Day?
Yeah.
Or the way you'd know wherever you go you'd know it's Mother's Day.
I'll be honest. Actually, someone reminded me that it's Men's Day. Like a poster that was sent into like a family group.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting. With all these people that I'm associated with, none of them realizes that I'm a man.
Yeah.
Or they forget that I need to be celebrated. So, there are a few people who did, and I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, I was taken out with one of my friends.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It was like an impromptu.
Me, I'm just here embarrassed because I didn't even wish anyone. I did the least because I also found out like at noon on social media as I was scrolling, and I was like, oh, it's Men's International Day, the men in my life. And then I was like, no one will notice if I don't, but
Man, we notice.
you notice.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. And on that, I feel like we need to talk about it because November is still mental health awareness for men and also prostate cancer awareness month. So I feel like the energy that men get on Men's International Day is not the same because we don't think that men need to be celebrated. We don't think that they need to be heard. We don't think that we can spare a whole day to celebrate them. And to be honest, it's also because of how we've been brought up. The patriarchy. It's easy to celebrate a woman's birthday than it is to celebrate a man's birthday because utaambiwa even from a young age, wewe ni mwanaume, nataka keki ya nini?
Umeshakuwa mtu mzima wewe. In fact, mnunulie maua. Like, I also need the flowers.
And it's crazy. So when it gets to that point and we're looking at men's mental health, and for me, when I hear mental health, I'm already triggered to some extent because mental health is a big deal and a big topic right now today. And it will be for some time to come because of the experiences and the influences that we are under right now. So your work mainly is on mental health awareness.
Yeah. My work is mainly on wellness. Just, talking about this. Interesting thing, because you just mentioned this. Some lady was telling me that, in fact, she posted, and she was saying that, the men's day is not as popular as the women's day because there's so many things that men have done and can't be celebrated in a day. And for me, it just felt like that's a lazy way of saying that, like covering up for like, we won't celebrate you. Now you won't celebrate us because we have so many accomplishments that can't be celebrated in a day. I'm like, my flowers and get going. Yeah. But I mean, mental health is a big part of today. The lady I went out with yesterday, she's a psychologist, and I remember when we were talking, she said that she wants to move from Kenya to America and work there, and her main reason was that she doesn't feel like Kenya is open to the idea of psychology and therapy. But I was just telling her to like think about it. It's an untapped market.
Yeah,
people are talking about it. Like we are talking about it.
Yeah.
Every time I find myself when someone tells me like they're seeing a therapist, my first go-to is like, oh my goodness, you are so messed up. That's always my first thinking. Do you need help? Why are you saying that? Like already the way I look at you changes. So I have to like remind myself, you don't see a therapist when you have a problem.
When you have a problem,
it's just you want someone to talk to.
You just want to express, man. Yeah.
I mean? And sometimes you find yourself, because I found myself in situations where as a dude, and it's interesting because I have this guru persona.
By the way, wow.
Which I'm grateful by. They're flooded with people asking me or confessing how they have contemplated suicide. And sometimes I'm like, I can't help. You may need professional help and answer to the best of my ability. And so because I have this guru persona, most of my friendships emanate from that. I help them in a way. So always the relationship is so sort of dependent. Kevin can help me do this.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I found myself when I need the help, I'm like,
where do you go?
This.
Yeah.
I can't break this guru persona. So I found myself just scrolling through the comments. I'm like, oh my goodness. Sometimes I call people to listen to their problems so that I can sort of just channel out. So I'll call someone and say, how are you? Instead of, yo, I need help.
I need help. Wow.
I mean?
Wow.
So
Goodness.
I think that really just reflects to how men are. Because imagine if it's sort of like, say, your dad. He has to put on this tough exterior.
Very much so.
Because that's how you've known him. He woke up and held his finger and he was the man.
Yeah.
Till a time comes and you realize, oh, my
Goodness.
dad is not Superman. So I think it's a catch-22 for us men. And I think it just needs to be talked about a lot more so that people know it's okay to pour yourself out and just really get everything out and show people this is me
Yeah.
when I am not the Superman or Batman that I am.
Wow. Thank you, Maina, for that. Thank you for sharing that. And when we come back, I'm going to ask you a question, and this is, how would you define a man? And how does society define a man? And how do I define a man? So guys, also let me know down below in the comment section, how do you define a man? What is this definition of a man that you think you have given yourself if you're a man? And as a woman, how would you define a man? Or how has society made us to think this is who a man is, and how is that affecting our mental health struggles, and how is that affecting men and their mental health struggles? So let's hear that discussion when we come back.
Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
Awesome. Karibuni sana. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about mental health amongst men. And we have Maina Mind in studio. And I asked him a question, how do you define a man, Maina?
Wow, that's a very tough question. Really. But what I know is that there, and this mostly from my upbringing, so it might be very wrong. But I know, what I would say is that I know the role of a man. And that is, could be very conservative in that a man is supposed to be the man. He's supposed to put on the pants.
Yeah.
I believe strongly in that. That a man needs to know the role of, you have to offer security. You have to provide. Those are no-brainers. You have to be the soldier in the house.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that if you're a soldier, you don't have opportunities to show your weakness.
Yeah.
Or to cry when you're weak.
Or express your emotions.
It just means that, put on the pants in sort of like a relationship. In society, be the one who is sought for leadership. It doesn't mean since you are the leader, you cannot source your wisdom from, say, the ladies or your kids even.
Yeah.
Or source inspiration from them.
Yeah.
It just means that you hold a stand in that people know, okay, fine, we have a sense of direction. It's, this guy can offer it. So it's sort of like just putting on the pants.
Putting on the pants.
Be the man that you're supposed to be.
For me, how I would define a man, or how I think a man has been defined to me, because society and culture affects how we see these things, is a man is strong. Yeah. And you're not supposed to see their weakness. You're not supposed to see them cry. You're not supposed to see them being weak. You're not supposed to see them being beat up. So even when your boyfriend is beat up in front of you, you're like, child, we cannot be together.
Moments is when my little brother comes to me like, Kevin, that girl. I'm like, please be a tiny guy, Because I have to show my bro. Man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got you, bro.
You can't show
So
real
like,
men get beat up.
Yeah. So I'm like, please be a tiny guy. Please be a tiny guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So for me, that has been the definition of what a man is, and such that when I am with my man, if I was to put it like that, and there's a bully, and there's a situation, and he can't handle it, I'm just like, whew. So you also want me to be the man here.
Wow.
You see, and these are things that I have to unlearn. Yeah. And I have to call myself out of it, because it means the patriarchy has affected me as well. And it's making me view this man as a weak person for just expressing their emotions, for not being able to do something that even me, I wouldn't probably be able to do. So for me, a man has always been a superhero. The same thing even with my dad. And we were talking off studio about just my experience and with my dad, having lost my dad this year, and hugely, I think my dad's biggest issue was depression. And we didn't know how to navigate that, because for a long time my dad is my hero. So how do you deal with an injured hero? How do you deal with him? How do you love him the same? How do you look at him the same? So most of the time you find yourself evading him, or even evading his space, because you don't know how to be around an injured hero.
You're even scared to just see him weak.
You're scared, Even life is scary, because you're like, if he's down, hey.
I'm not sure about everything else I knew.
Exactly. So even for me, I realized that these are things that we need to unlearn. I need to unlearn them so that I am able to be a better wife. I'm able to be a better mom to my sons and allow them or give them room and space to express their emotions, you know. So instead of telling young boys, real boys don't cry, you tell them it's okay to express your emotion and let it out. Tears are okay, just as they would be okay if it was your daughter. It's still fine if it's your son.
You know, you mentioned about you know, your dad.
Yeah.
That's a very personal, beautiful story. There's someone who I read this somewhere. I think it's from Will Smith. I'm not quite sure, but I read it somewhere. It said, a boy becomes a man once they realize that their dad is not Superman.
Well, that's deep for
You know what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know, like, growing up, my dad was the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You grew up
he was a
seeing-
god, you know. Yeah,
like,
and he'd
oh
come
my-
home and hold you and lift
Yes.
you up.
Like, I want to show him, Dad, this is what I did.
And even when you go outside, baba yangu atakuchapa.
You know? And then you sort of see, we were just talking about this earlier, how we realized our guys, as they're getting older, they are more human.
Yeah,
And then now you see, wow.
exactly. And you find yourself withdrawing and being like,
Yeah.
yeah, kumbe hivi ndio kuke. These people
exactly.
are not superhuman.
They are not. Like,
Yeah.
they are people who are figuring out. And, you know, as a first child, you know, it's like they were figuring out with me.
Ooh,
But they had to put on this, you know.
strong.
The time my dad told us a story of how he was stressed because of certain thing that was going wrong in the house, which for me, when I think back in hindsight, it didn't even seem to me as a big deal. It was to do with power.
Okay.
And my dad was stressed because, oh my goodness, you know, wase watamka wanataka kuchopa asubuhi.
Kuna stima.
Kuna stima. There's no Wi-Fi. So he was stressing out. He was going all over the place. But I remember looking at him, I'm like, honestly, I couldn't tell you were stressed. But the way he was telling us the story, he was flipping. But he told us he had to play the role of the dad.
Yeah.
If you saw him stressed, then you'd know something is wrong. And
Yeah.
that's so true.
Yeah.
So he had to put on this tough exterior until everything else was okay. Then he now tells us the story. And it's interesting because you mentioned about how now men are defined these days. It's interesting because how often do you get into a room and say, you know, morning gentlemen? These days it's always like, yo, boys. Even though you're referring to men,
Yeah.
you'd be more of boys, but women changed to girls and went to, you know, women or ladies. You know, but for us, change from gentlemen
But sasa, Maina,
to boys.
hapo kwa gentlemen, ni venye tunawa experience.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Like before, it used to be you in the presence of gentlemen.
And in the presence of,
Today,
you know.
mtu akuja ofisi, hey boys, I need, you know, it's so natural to just refer to people as boys. But it's so like, whoa, you just call me sir. You know what I mean? And that's why there's a breed of now men who are told it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
But they needed to be reminded that you also need to tuck in your shirt. You need to stand upright because as much as we're allowing you to cry, we don't mean that now you slack and let us do the job.
Oh wow, I like that because there has to be balance as well.
There
A
has to be.
good balance.
We're just letting you know that it's okay to channel it out. But remember, you still have a role to play.
You have a role to play.
Yes.
You have to be strong.
Exactly.
You have to come through.
It is just in your nature. That's what you're created to do. And that's why it's so natural for a guy to pursue a lady and not the other way around. It's okay for it to be the other way around.
Yeah.
It's more natural to just pursue. And the way men are wired is such that you will always know when I'm pursuing you. It's just for me to surprise you with the way I'm pursuing you.
But what's up with these guys who want to be like taken out on dates, be bought for food?
No. When it's too much, when it's to the point of that's what I want every time, then there's a problem.
Then there's a
In your
problem.
wiring. Because natural, it should just be the other way around. Once in a while, like when it's my birthday, you know, I would be happy. You know.
Yeah,
if
definitely, of course.
You know, like
Yeah.
yesterday, if someone told me, "Yo, man, Happy Men's Day, you are to be celebrated," I'm like,
It feels
I
good.
can do something,
Yeah.
you know? Or if someone got me a chocolate, it feels good. But naturally, I'd feel like, you know, I'm the one to, you know, organize the dates. I and especially if we're involved.
Yeah.
I'm the one to like set a precedence. If we are cost sharing and everything.
And
I just
speaking of dating, what do you think about this? Because there's this thing about the one with the most money to handle the bills. What's your stand?
like in the relationship,
Yeah.
like the one with the most money
To handle the bills.
Here's what I say, man, and I've had this conversation a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are very conservative in that, you know, they will extrapolate that and say, you know, I'll never get into the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
There are things I'll never do.
Mm-hmm.
Brainers,
Mm-hmm.
and I respect that. What I always say in regards to this, with two people involved,
Mm-hmm.
it's a matter of mutual agreement.
Okay.
Like, you know, like, babe, you know, this is my extent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can we agree to sort of, I want to be the guy and I'm ready to be the man, but can we agree to compromise in this regard, whereby I still get to do my job, but you can help out where you feel need be.
But
Personally,
imagine this
here's the
situation.
thing.
Yeah.
Personally,
Uh-huh.
my thinking is, as a dude, I
Mm-hmm.
have the responsibility
Mm-hmm.
that I need to provide,
Yeah.
that I need to take care of anything,
Mm-hmm.
of everything that
Mm-hmm.
regards to bills and whatnot.
Yeah.
But similarly, I'll expect from my wife
Mm-hmm.
that she covers the preliminaries that, you know, are involved in her responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure there's food. I bring the house structure.
Mm-hmm.
She makes the home.
She makes the home. Okay, let's just simplify this. We are at a restaurant. It's a fine restaurant, fine dining, you know. And me as the woman, I'm the one who makes the most.
Yeah.
You get.
Okay.
So do you feel like it's a good expectation for me to have on my person to handle the bill? Of course, because I know I can pay for myself, I'm ordering willy-nilly however I want to eat. Yeah. So do you expect my person, should I expect my person to handle the bill, or should I be like, you know what, I'm the one who earns the most, so let me handle that bill?
No, I don't think, even in terms of like when I have a wife and I'm taking care of the bills, it doesn't mean that she earns less. Like, it's not, I will take care of the bills if you earn less. No, I take care of the bills because I'm the man.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? So it's not that since I earn more. In that case, then you'd say that all men should be earning more. You know, like men should, you know, when you're employed, you should always make sure that the man is earning more. The woman is not, because this man needs to take this woman on a date and she won't spend money. No, it's just the fact that you are a man, you will take care of this. Unless it's a mutual. I've gone on dates where we have literally agreed and I've said, listen, I can only afford for this. This
And I like
what,
that.
Yeah. This is what we'll be ordering. This is what we'll be having. This is the budget. Can you do that? We just split the bill and have a good time.
It's a partnership.
That is mutual agreement.
That's what it is.
That's a partnership.
Yeah, and there has to be that level of agreement.
Exactly.
Yeah, and people need to have more conversations, guys. So what do you guys think, man? Like, who's paying these bills? Yeah, maybe us, we've agreed here, but Tuko Chili, well, things on the ground are different. You know, what do you think? Let us know in the comment section. And I hope you're catching this conversation on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know, these conversations are amazing. Hope you're catching them there on Icon Radio KE. And also catch the show every Tuesday from 10 to 12 noon on www.iconradio.co.ke.
Icon Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here with Maina.
Yes, ma'am.
Please share with us your social media pages.
My social media pages at Maina Mind, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, just YouTube as well. Maina Mind.
Maina
That's Maina
Mind.
Yes.
Awesome. Great content on there. We love the videos. We love the audios. Like, we love it all, to be honest. And I feel like that's the next direction that social media is taking, because we are moving more into content that makes sense.
Deep,
you know,
deep content.
Yes.
Previously, it was like, for those in comedy, like, you're just trending. These days, it's like, you know, you're surprised at how people are connecting with, like, oh my goodness, that's the same situation I'm in right now.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah, and content that is making awareness on issues, relevant issues that we are dealing with. So that's pretty awesome. It's awesome that you're doing that with your space. Yes. So with that in mind, we had a really heated conversation here with my co-host MC Paps in absentia today. And we were just talking about love, relationships, personal development and growth, career in your 20s. Which one comes first?
Wow.
So kuna love hapa,
Okay, kuna love.
alafu kuna personal growth, career development. Which one comes first in your 20s? What do you think?
Ah, man, I'm in my 20s right now. So
Hey, how are your 20s, by the way? Are they
20s
living up to the expectations?
so far so good.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you, it's because I chose the latter. Personal growth and the career. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
Personal love it. Let me tell you something, man. We're discussing this and we are realizing when you're in your 20s, which may be different for kuna wase watasema yo guys met usually meet in campo, but you can very much isolate those cases. They're like 2 or 5 or, you know.
Yeah.
But what I've realized that in your 20s, people are ever growing. People are evolving, you know. My ex-girlfriend of 2 years is so different right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's not the same person.
She's not the same.
Yeah.
And so even in terms of relationships, I always say, like, be very wise. It doesn't mean that you don't commit to relationships, but be very wise in regards to knowing your relationships. Knowing that, this is a library relationship. You know what I mean? Like, we met in the library. It doesn't necessarily mean now I can pull you to the club. No, we might be very good friends in the library, like we vibe. But kitoka laibu, we have nothing to talk about. Maybe very good friends in church.
Yeah.
But I can't drag you to the club. It can't transmute to that, but you just have to know the limits and the boundaries. It doesn't mean that you don't be afraid to commit. But set a precedence, like how your circumstances. Mimi bado naishi kwa wazazi wangu. So dating is like
the real. People talk about love and I'm like, show me the money.
Exactly. Like,
how are you going to finance this relationship?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm dating and I have to think of how I'll sneak you into. Man, you deserve so much more than that.
Mimi kwanza tu.
Yeah.
Kwanza nimefurahi paps. Maina has agreed with me because bills are real. There's that. Maina is in his early 20s. I'm in my late 20s.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I do believe this for not only men, but for women as well.
That's true.
Put effort into knowing who you are. And you've spoken about these relationships that we see on social media. Oh, we started dating when we were 21, we were in campus together.
Yeah.
But do you know, in those relationships, they've given room to one another to grow and to accept that my partner will change and I am here for it.
Yeah.
But the question is, will you be there for it, for the change? Will you stifle your partner? Or will you be the person that gives your partner freedom in the sense that you allow them to pursue their dreams, to pursue their careers? Don't be these women out here telling me, oh, you won't go to Australia because of a guy. Hello? My friend, pande yo ndege. Yeah, you only live once. Go do your thing. And truly, if that love is true, Paps alisema love finds you. Or you find love finds you, you find love finds you. That love will still find you.
It will.
Exactly.
People always are. People need to understand it's also a choice that you make. Like by the time I'm realizing I want to love you, it's a choice that I'm making.
Exactly.
I will be intentional in doing that. When I talk about circumstances, it's that my circumstances right now won't allow me. I don't have the time to call you at night and drag on a phone call of 2 a.m. I need to be at work the next day and try to build the foundation for what we will live or depend on in the future. So right now, let me just create circumstances that will favor us in the future.
And you see, the thing is this. Also, I do agree. Love is important. We all want love. We all want to be loved. But the thing also that we need to be aware of is if this love doesn't give you freedom as well, then it's not healthy.
Yes.
Yeah. I cannot be 22 thinking about my career and I have to call my boyfriend to ask him what he thinks and what should I do. And he tells me, oh, don't go. And I'm like, I didn't go because my boyfriend said I shouldn't go.
Wow.
It's okay to date, know people, because dating also is part of self-discovery.
And that's another thing. People need to realize between dating and being in a relationship.
And being in a committed relationship,
You know what I mean? That's
a different ball game.
Now ameshaanza kulive pamoja and you're like, you're just seeing each other.
Like young people.
We are getting to know each other.
Get to know each other.
In safe spaces, in public areas, not in my bedroom.
So we've agreed. We are both investing in our personal growth and our career growth, not because we value these things more than love, but because we believe that we will contribute better in those romantic spaces if we have cultivated some things within ourselves. So that would be an awesome thing. So, with that in mind, I want to take this conversation back to our topic, which is men's mental health. You know,
Right, yeah.
how are we taking care of ourselves? You know, and some of the tips that you have for men out here that you can just help them take care of themselves. And yeah, so what do you have?
For me, I would say, like, as a man, just have channels. Know that it's okay to just have a channel where you can sort of open up and be free with the people that you trust. And this is very important because sometimes and this is where society really plays a big role. And I told you this earlier. We have men who are very conservative, who have been raised as that. You don't show weakness, you don't cry, you don't do anything. And then suddenly there's this change in our generation where we have men who are being told, yo, cry, yo, show everything. No. And then now there are these two
conflicting ideas.
Because as much as women, you expect me to be a man, yet you still are mad when I'm being a man, in terms of, like, also as a woman, I need to be to do exactly as you can do. I was talking about topic on hookup culture.
Yeah.
And what we realized is that this trend came up where people sleep together, mostly in the 1960s, because women wanted to feel liberated
sexually,
just as men. You know what I mean?
It was the sex, drugs, and what during that era.
Sex, drugs, and robots. Where people are saying men are bad because they have been in leadership, they have been in this, they are taking all this. Yet when you grow up, you want a man. But you've been telling these men who are here that, yo, it's okay to cry, it's okay to just be, yourself.
Yeah.
So what I'd remind men is, it's okay to have those channels, but also know the limits to which you have those channels. In this case, that you have people you trust. It doesn't mean, since I'm giving you a channel, that now I'll open up to everyone, that I'll show my kids, yo, I'm not the father that you... No, show your kids that you are the dad, but also have people that you very much trust. Like, sort of, if you want to call it a boy club or your therapist, have someone who you know you can talk to. I think that is the first form of self-awareness, when you're selfless enough to know that you also deserve some love.
Oh yeah. And
that
I love that you say that, because for us as women, we have been taught we receive love. You get and it's very natural for me to expect love from people around me and even from a partner. But for men, even for us as women, it's very weird. Oh, you also need to be loved. We're like, oh, okay. Weird. We don't even know how to do that.
And that's what should change. Like, I should know. Like, if I want to be loved, I should, you have sometimes your gender advantage. Like, just put it on the ground and say, I also want to be loved.
This way. And express how you want to be loved. Guys, how do you want to be loved? The men on here, how do you want to be loved? Let us know in the comment section, because sometimes us people can also be very clueless. We don't know how to navigate. For them, probably they know if I buy flowers, maybe my woman likes flowers, or
she my happy socks.
Or just buy her food. But for me, what really matters to you? How can we love you in ways that matter? How can we create a safer space for your expression? And I like what you've said, creating a balance between being in your role and having room and space to express that. Sometimes it's also very hard, and I'm struggling in this way. So that's awesome to hear. Guys, let us know in the comment section what you think about this conversation, everything that we've talked about. What are your thoughts? Catch this conversation on www.iconradio.co.ke or on our social platforms, Icon Radio KE on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all of that good stuff.
Icon Radio.
People, I hope you're enjoying the show. It's your girl at Miss Dorsila Ogola. Before we continue with our conversation, I want to talk about the yo-yo challenge, man. I know menionapo Instagram, mini mefanya yo-yo challenge, I was shining. Monapo Paps Vayana struggle. I'm the one with the feet in this relationship between me and Paps. But you know what? We're gonna still be doing so many challenges together, so that's debatable. We'll see how we do. So how do the thing that you need to do is get on the yo-yo challenge, because there are prizes, amazing prizes to get on with. The yo-yo song is on YouTube. It's a song by Basse J and Neville. It's on YouTube. You can get it there. And how to get onto the challenge so that you're able to win, you have to record yourself doing the dance. see if you can outdo me or not. Akina Samiro walifanya job poa sana, and it was really amazing. After recording yourself all the yo-yo challenge, the next thing that you need to do, you need to download the Tunu app. Tunu, Tunu, Tunu app. After downloading the Tunu app, you need to follow us on our social media pages. Follow us on Icon Radio KE, and you need to also follow Icon Records _KE on Instagram. Follow those two platforms. Follow Tunu app on Instagram. Download the app, get a username, and post it on your Instagram, and make sure you tag everybody. That's Tunu app, Icon Records, Icon Radio. Tag all of us, and tag me as well. Tag either MC Paps on there, or you can tag me, Miss Dorsila Ogola, on Instagram, and we'll be able to give you stuff. Yeah, because we want to give you stuff. So download the app. Make sure you download the app. Download the Tunu app if you have not already, and participate in the Yo-Yo Challenge. So I want to get back to our conversation.
Yes.
And there was this post on Instagram, and it was about men and simping. I know you've heard about it.
Yes, I have.
Men and simping, and this conversation was sparked by a guy called Real Mike Washira.
All right.
Yeah, I think you have access.
I think I've seen screenshots
of some of his work. Yeah. So this is what he had to say.
Okay.
Have you noticed that the word simp is often used to embarrass any man who defends or extends any basic courtesy towards a woman?
Wow.
Do I read it again?
Okay, just read it.
Have you noticed that the word simp is often used to embarrass any man? To embarrass. They say men will embarrass you.
Yes.
But this word simp is used to embarrass any man who defends or extends any basic courtesy towards a woman.
Wow. Is that true, though, from a woman's perspective?
From a woman's perspective, I feel like it's true.
It's true.
That's how we've made this word simp
Yes.
to become in our culture here today.
Yeah.
Because any man who would stand and say, you know what, do not touch a woman, do not do this to a woman, let
That's a
women, so that man is branded a simp
Yeah.
for just defending the rights or
Yes.
defending the place of a woman, or even saying a woman has the right to do something.
Alright.
You get? So that's how it has been expressed out here.
Yes.
So for me, it was a strong yes.
Wow. Okay.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I think from a society's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
yes. In fact, for me, for a very long time, I was uncertain
Mm-hmm.
of what simping is.
Yeah,
Because it was like, it seems like when I do something good to a woman, then I'm simping.
you're simping.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
when you buy her flowers, simp
When
of
you
the year.
get- There's this discussion we had. They were saying, ati mi siwezi amkia mwanamke akae hata kama she's pregnant. Because I am simping.
These are the men that want
These are
they
the
want
men
us
that
to
now
date.
we are
These are the
raising.
men.
These are the men that your daughters will be dating. Your daughters will be complaining we don't have real men.
It can never
This is
be
what
me.
they are doing.
And my children. Look.
Yeah. But for anyone who's uncertain about this, first of all, to the women, you should, from that statement, women are at fault. Because let me tell you something. There's a time
Women are at fault.
in that statement because they're the ones who are setting a precedence.
Okay.
That nikikuwa generous, then I'm a simp. Unaona vile anasema, like,
Okay.
unaona, like
If
being
I'm
generous to
understanding
you-
what you're saying,
Yes.
this is what you're saying. That you have this man who treats you really good.
Yes.
Then you have this man who's Taliban
Yes.
and treats you really bad.
Yes.
So as a woman, the man that's the man
Yes.
is this one that
is this
treats
one.
you
And
badly.
even most of the time, when it's not even about this Taliban man, you write off that man. Then you're setting a precedence that being nice is simping.
Is simping.
Is simping.
Okay.
I want to tell you a story. There's a time, something that is very normal, I would think, as a man, tulikuwa with a cab. Tumefika kwenye tumefika. I simply got out of the car and opened the door for the lady. You should have seen the shock on her face. It's like I'm making a move. For me, it is something just as
Normal.
a gentleman.
Yeah.
Hata tukiwa elevator, let you go first.
My friends, normalize kufunguliwa mlango.
You know what I mean?
Normalize it. Stop acting surprised.
Exactly. These are things that you just, it's not a big deal. As a man, I would feel very called upon to open or let you go first. You know what I mean? So for anyone who's confused about simping, or to the ladies who are misunderstanding this whole aspect of being generous, here's what simping is.
Okay, thank you. Describe, like,
for my understanding,
clarify.
what I understand.
Yeah.
Simping is when as a man you are forced to degrade your standard for the woman. When I'm in pursuit, I'm very nice to you, I flirt with you, nitakwambia mambo unataka kusikia. But once I start lowering my standard to get you,
or to please you,
and now you see I've ripped off the manness in me so that I can get you, that's pure simping. And that's why simping is more of an energy. Where you feel as a lady.
I love that you say that, because simping is an energy.
It is.
Because when you walk into a room, you can feel when someone is desperate for attention, when someone is desperate for approval or validation. So as a man, if you're entering into that space and you really want her attention, you're willing to do the most for her, and she is clearly acting like she is not interested, then you need to be able to be like, you know what, I have my dignity, I can back away, I have already laid my intentions, it's either you're interested or you're not, and if you're not interested, I keep it moving.
And that's why I told you earlier, as men we are wired in such a way that you will know when I'm pursuing you. You will know. I will make sure you
But the thing is, Nairobi man, you don't know. You don't know.
Let me tell you, as a man, you will know that I'm pursuing you. My responsibility is to surprise you with the way I pursue you. You know what I mean? Like whether I'm getting you flowers and whatnot. Now that gap of responsibility is where the simping comes in.
Okay.
If I'm degrading my manness, let me just say it that way. If I'm lowering my standards.
But also, can we talk about what women do out here nowadays? Because you know very well that you're not interested in this man. You will never give him a shot. But you let him do these things for you. You let him buy you flowers. You let him, you know, and you're just using him for the good stuff that you're getting. You're letting him pay your rent. You're letting him do all these things. And then, in the end, you're like, see, he has his own mind. Did I force him to do it? For me, what I'm advocating for here in this conversation right now is people need to use words. Use words. Don't just buy people flowers. Don't be paying people's rent and being like, you know, I paid your rent, but you did not communicate. You just paid my rent. Even if you want to pay my rent. But I would say use words. And I feel like if more of us used our words and we meant what we were saying and we were people of our words, I'd be like, you know what? I like you, Dorsila, and I'd like to take you out on for a cup of coffee or whatever. You know, other than you've been buying me coffee every day and then I'm supposed to tell myself that you like me. What do you think?
What you're describing is called, first of all, there are two things that you're talking about. There's the first one where women make you think. It's called leading on.
There's a video, a whole video about leading on, man. Men, stay woke.
Yes. Now, what women are doing is that they will make you think you can have them if you try harder. They make you think. In their mind, wanajua.
It's not gonna happen, honey.
Now, the second thing that you're talking about is clarity.
Yes.
Very clear.
Be clear.
Clarity is everything, by the way.
The older you get, you realize.
Clarity is saying, yo, bro, me not appreciate effort yako,
but
honestly,
it is what it is.
We are not there yet.
And if you still want to give me flowers,
give me flowers, but I'm just being clear. Clear that it will hurt you at the moment, but long term, you'll be very grateful that you're honest with me. I can move on.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that topic.
Man,
guys,
you're welcome. That's a good one.
niambieni hapo kwa comments. Wewe tu ni kuchukua flowers na usemi I don't like you. I don't want to be with you. You know, and you as a guy, you're just doing all these things for this lady, and you know very well probably she doesn't want to be with you, and then you're branded simping on those streets. You know, you're branded a simp and all of that. So let me know in the comment section what you think about those two topics. And if you have not downloaded the Tunu app, guy, download the Tunu app. You'll find amazing games that you can play online and be paid to play games online. I mean, what's better than that? Yeah. So catch this conversation on www.iconradio.co.ke or on our social media platforms, Icon Radio KE on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, tuko TikTok pia.
Icon Radio.
Welcome back to Icon Radio, guys. This is the Afterthought with Miss Dorsila, Ogola, and MC Paps. MC Paps missing in the building today, but we miss him, and he's gonna be here in our next segment. You know, the next segment whereby we're gonna be having another guest to talk about other issues affecting young people. So let's watch out for him, and we can tell him there in the comment section that we miss him. Yeah. We miss him because I topic him game kasirisha mbaya. But we'll be here again. I'm sure I'll probably ask him some of these questions to just get to hear what he thinks about them. So I'm in the studio with Maina Mind, we are talking about mental health among men. And there's this thing about understanding our worth, knowing who we are, and being settled in ourselves and our place on this earth. Because the issues around mental health, we are looking at things like anxiety, depression, cases of suicide, unfortunately, and people generally just not being awake for their own lives, you know. So there's drugs, you know, drinking yourself and drowning yourself in alcohol. There's that. So what would you say to a man who is struggling mentally?
Obviously there are very many reasons of why your mental health could be affected, but in our case, or in what we're talking about, in terms of worth and, you know, self-awareness, most of the time utapata hizi strain, they come through because people, like we said earlier, people get out of themselves. Like you meet someone who maybe you're trying to impress, or you're in a world where, you know, people act in a certain way. So because you don't believe in who you are, you try and act as someone else. Now when you're strain of anxiety, you know. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, she's noticing all my insecurities. And you don't even know this person, where they're coming from. Yeah. But you already set a precedent that they are on this level.
Uko hapo chini.
Reach that level. There's something I wrote the other day on my status, because what wanasumbuanga sana, and I said I am very unapologetic about being unreliable on text or email. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very unapologetic for that, and most of the time is because you will text me now and be very involved in deep work, whatever I'm doing. Most of the time I just put off my phone. Airplane mode. If I'm working on something that requires my concentration, trust me, I'll put off my phone. So I'm very unreliable in that regard, and I'm unapologetic for it. So
it's good that you say that, because what is this obsession that just because you call someone they need to answer your call, or they need to text you immediately, and if they don't, it's somehow a sign of value, or a sign of this is where I've put you in my life. I'm just saying, I will get to it when I'll get to it.
Yeah, smart people will always notice the times I'm online. Mostly it will be at night before I call it a day, or early morning before I start the day. You know what I mean? So I'm very aware of that.
Yeah.
And I'm just using that as an example that men should be aware of what they cannot compromise. You know what I mean? It's not up to me to fit into your standard, or lower or rise my standards beyond, or punch above my weight so that I can reach to who you are.
Yeah.
It's about me knowing my standards, my value and worth, and getting someone who respects that.
And demanding for that respect. When
if someone respects that, that means they're on the same sort of radar as you are.
Okay.
You have to already know your circumstances and everything, so that you know we are compatible in the way that you understand my principles, my priorities, my standards. I don't have to compromise myself. Hata men who have left their kids to chase a young woman,
tunawaona, tunawajua.
Already you're compromising your principles. You meet someone who understands that, and they know my first priority are my kids.
So identify your values. And most people don't even understand what their values are, because they don't know who they are to begin with.
People ask, what's your type of woman? You can't start defining that if you don't know who you are or what you value. So I tell people, just know who you are and what your principles are, and then you don't even need to know your type of woman. Just know what you can't compromise.
Exactly. And definitely you will end up attracting the kind of woman that complements the values that you project.
Most of the time it's because people live from a scarcity mindset. I've met guys who are like, man, I have to man, udem man, naona sioni kanta pata dem wengine. They're like, bro, hizi vitu ni choice. You know, like live from an Abadan mindset.
Yeah,
you know,
live.
There's so much for everyone.
The earth is always giving.
Yes, trust me. Even if you are in a relationship, and I've said this a couple of times, even if you have a girlfriend or a wife, do you know in this world that there are very many people, more people who are more compatible with you than your current girlfriend and wife?
Imagine.
It's just that you haven't met them.
You haven't met them, it's true.
You know, like
yeah. And that's mind blowing.
Yeah, nikienda Zanzibar na nikae huko for 5 years. Trust me,
you will find someone. Yeah, it's true.
Europe and I stay for 5 years. Trust me, I'll come.
You will come back with another love of your life.
I will decide to be the love of my wife. So there are very many people who are compatible with you. It's just for you to make a choice and decide. This is the time for me to start dating. Then your dem naona. If we do not vibe, that's okay. I'll find another.
So
you know what I mean?
What you're saying is just where you place your worth.
Yes.
You need to be very mindful of that. The things that you because also for men naonanga mna place worth yenyu sana kwa kazi.
Yeah.
Which ni ukweli, a man has to work, a man has to provide. But on the flip side, when a man is not able to work or to provide, it gongas their mental health vibaya.
That is true.
And then unapata ameenda chini, even just to bring him back up, because sometimes you don't have that work to offer him. Sometimes it's gonna be dark for a season. But how do you ensure that this dark season, whereby he's not able to be in his element to work and to provide, that season doesn't drown him? Yeah.
There's something that, do you know, anytime you meet someone or a society today, first question watakuuliza, what do you do?
It's true.
You know, it's so
wanaulizana ndio wajua wanakuweka wapi kwa event kwanza.
Ukishasema I am a poet.
Hey,
nishajua vile
utakuwa treated.
Communication to you. I know how I look at you.
Exactly.
I'm an artist, you know, the stereotype of artist in Kenya. Basically, people ask that to already know how they can gauge you. Now that's a societal problem. You know what I mean?
Cultural issue.
Yes, there's a story told of this old man. Time yake ilifika kuretire. That guy had not invested in family. He had not, alikuwa with all the wealth he needed, but he had not invested. But he went on retirement for 5 years. He became sick. Sick, not because, and mentally sick, not because he was ailing from a disease. It's because he lost his job.
Oh my.
So what the organization did, simple, they retained his corner office. Told him, you can always just come to work with this deluded idea that you're working, but he's not really working. The company is cut off. But they just give him that corner office, give him his nice secretary, so that he can feel as if he has regained his purpose. And what you're saying is true. Because of that societal idea of what do you do? You know, he's a man. Oh, what does he do as
it's
a
not
man?
who are you.
It's not who are you.
People don't see you. People see
exactly.
what you bring to the table.
Exactly. So now men find their identity on the work, which is very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Again, to what extent do you cut that and draw a line and say, you as a own person, I am a commodity as I work. It's not the job, it is me that makes the job. Yeah.
Wow. And that's for me, because we can argue this. A lot of people can argue this point. You know, men should not or should attach their worth to their work. You see, there's some people who will say it in a very positive light, in the sense that men should work. Men should go out there and, you know, work and make sure they're taking care of their homes and their families. But then again, also men should accept help. That's one. You should be able to accept help. And let's say, for example, you're in a relationship with this person, you know, young people, they're not able to work. You know, the issues that young people are dealing with today, jobs are scarce. You get, we're not talking about rich young boys. We're talking about people who are coming from homes that need them to work and they're not able to access these jobs. You know, how do they work around that? How do they encourage themselves every single day to just get up and keep going?
I'll repeat what I said. You are a commodity.
You are a commodity.
That's one thing that you always need. Like, imagine, even whether you're going on a date, whether you're such a commodity, you can afford to waste your time or even lower your standards to start thinking, oh my goodness, they're doing me a favor by being here. No, I'm doing you a favor by being here because I know my value. So that's the first thing. You are a commodity as you are. The other thing is that we have been
as I am, without anything added or removed.
Trust me, you can make money rain when you decide to.
Amen.
So, you know what I mean? So people need to realize that and realize that. The other thing is that we have grown this stereotypical idea that for as long as you have a corner office, as long as you're employed with an employer who takes care of your insurances and health and everything, there's something called the gig economy. People, the fact that you're a commodity, you can explore and expound, and be as you are, make that money. Right?
Guys, you are a commodity. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments down below. www.iconradio.co.ke. Catch up with this conversation on our socials as well.
Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
Welcome back. It's Icon Radio, the Afterthought with your girl at Miss Dorsila Ogola. Guys, download the app, Tuno app. Download the app, play games, win stuff, get paid. I mean, who doesn't like the sound of that? Yo-yo challenge as well. Yo-yo challenge, man. I did the yo-yo challenge you saw. It's on my Instagram. I would never put you on to something I myself I have not done. I have done it. It's good for you. It's a beautiful song by Basse J and Neville. Check it out on YouTube. If you wanna win amazing stuff from Tunu, from guys from Tunu, make sure you download their app, get the username, do the yo-yo challenge, tag us on our social media pages, Icon Radio KE. There's that. We have the Tunu app. Make sure you download it, get the username, post it on our socials, and make sure you tag us. When you tag us, you get an opportunity to win amazing prizes. And so Maina Mind, I want us to talk about your journey, in this space of creation.
Content creation.
Yeah. How it has been so far.
Yeah.
How has the journey been for you? When did you start?
Yeah, so just a reminder, my socials are all Maina Mind.
Ah, awesome.
Maina.
Make sure you follow him.
Yes, Maina Mind. So the journey started, I think 2 years ago. Right after I cleared high school. Did I say 2 years ago? I don't know. I think 2017 now. That's when it started. And I was in a very low place in regards to just figuring out what I wanted to do.
Who imagines that Maina was in a low place, man?
Yeah, I know. I get that. But I was in a very low place in terms of figuring out, because there was a lot that was happening in the background in terms of family and whatnot.
Was it a quarter life crisis?
You could say that.
We talked about it here last week.
Yeah. So it was more of just things, and as a man, not having the channels to express myself. And I remember I think I was that was the closest I'd say I was towards depression.
Wow.
So what I started doing is I started going out. So I started going out to places where I knew that I would get happiness that time, which is the Kenya National Theatre. Started going out, doing plays.
Wow.
Did my first audition, got my first role.
Awesome. You act.
Yeah, acting was my thing. I've done mini series with Nick Mutuma.
Awesome. Nick Mutuma, my crush. Hello. I'm this close to meeting Nick Mutuma.
He's a good guy. I'll send a message. But yeah, so that's when I started. And then consequently did more plays and everything. But then now on a personal level, I started writing. I opened up a blog. If you check out my blog, I have a blog that has been running for a while now. It's grown.
What's the website name?
Maina Mind.
mainamind.com or .co.ke? WordPress.com.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I started writing, but it was sad poetry.
Hey, nuko ukiingia unakutana na maneno.
I used to write when I was sad. You know what I mean? And then I would write and then I'd post it, but privately. And then I started making them public. And then people started, engaging me on that, and like, man, I felt what you're saying.
Me too, man.
And then now I started forcing myself to learn how to write even when I'm happy, to express myself when I'm happy. That was a different stage in itself, because now I said I'll only write when I'm happy instead of only when
I'm sad. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I started writing and getting into wellness.
And I like because something has just popped in my mind, because sometimes we look at emotions as bad or good.
Yeah.
And emotions are just emotions.
They're just emotions.
Yeah, they just bring you to a certain level of awareness.
Exactly.
Just as happiness brings brings you to
Exactly.
a place of awareness where
Yeah.
this makes me happy
Yeah.
and I need to keep doing this because it makes me happy, or this makes me sad. I need to look deep within myself.
Yeah.
I need to see what I need to alter or
Exactly.
change. So
Exactly.
emotions are just emotions, and just making that transition from not just writing when you're feeling yeah.
Like even when I want to write, I have to make myself sad. So that I write, you know what I mean? So that's where the aspect of storytelling came in.
Okay.
So I started now even just writing, not because of me, but other people. I started writing creative nonfiction. And I was just in the writing itself. Granted, probably some about multipotentiality. So I realized that aspect of myself. Writing.
I call it multi-passionate.
Yeah, you could call it that. So I started writing, and then I got myself a guitar.
Wow.
So I started singing when I did my music classes and everything. I started singing on my page and everything. And then there was the need to create skits. So I started making skits earlier on. But like any other content creator, nothing was moving for me. Like I was trying and chasing the numbers and whatnot, and I did that for a while. My YouTube page grew on a fast rate. I started my podcast. Then that's when it started. It all now started for me, the aspect of now creating audio visual. So the podcast grew, and then for me to get to where I am right now in terms of Minor Mind, the real guy who speaks or exudes wisdom, it was a point where I'd taken a break from content creation because it was taking a lot from me than it was giving me anything. So I sat down with myself and I told myself, I'm only gonna create content that helps me be better.
I love that. I love that.
So that I look forward to it.
Yeah.
So even my podcast, I changed it. It was like I was telling people stories. I would have people come on my podcast and just narrate a story. Yeah. Oh man, there are immense stories about abuse and everything. People just come on and narrate it for a whole session.
Wow.
And then the consequent episode will be about a book review. So I have to force myself to read so that I do the book
review.
You see how it's helping me make myself better.
Yes.
So even for the real videos that I started, I remember I just had an epiphany about rejection. And I was in my room and I was like, man, what am I learning from this rejection that I've just experienced? And then I told myself, okay, this is what I'm learning and everything. Then I was like, that's interesting. I wish many people would know that. And I just took my camera, set it up nicely, pressed record, and then started speaking.
Wow.
And then I took that footage and looked at it, and then I edited, put some music underlay, and I was like,
Damn.
this sounds good. Maybe let me try to post it. When I posted that video,
It blew up.
It blew, and I just had this realization. Content creation is actually about you. If you're creating content that you can consume, that you're proud and you believe in, because I get DMs where people are like, man, I agree with you, but there's this part, and I can actually stand up for myself and say, this is my belief on it,
and this my thought on it,
something that I
believed in.
So that was a total game
And
changer.
that's awesome. I like that you say that, because I normally tell people, as a content creator, it has to be for you first. It has to belong to you first before you put it out into the world.
Yeah, in fact, most videos are more as an expression to myself than it is to the crowd. It's so that I happen to share it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, most of them are affirmations for
For
me,
you.
'cause I need them. So and then I just share out to someone who will relate.
Wow.
So realize two things, man. You create content that is for you, as you said it. Content that is for you, that you vibe with, that you can die with. Because this is what I always tell people. Don't create content looking outwards as if, what do they want? Sometimes people don't even
know what they
until you
want.
give them what they want.
Exactly.
And so that means that there are 10 people in this world who think like you. There are other 10 people who think like these 10 people. The other 10 people who think like these other 10 people. Your work is to get the first 10.
Then.
And then they will sell you to the rest.
To the rest of the 10.
So that's what happened to me.
Hey, that's a lot of wisdom, guys.
That thought, like 5 people who did. And then from there, man, we got to 5,000, 100K views, and I was like,
wow, mind blowing. I know.
We got a very loyal
fan base.
Always active, engaging with news they need. Wow.
It's amazing. Just to hear you speak of your journey, I am so encouraged. Guys, are you encouraged by that story and his journey? And what I love is doing the things that you love. And the thing about being young, being a man, feeling like you are stuck in a corner and you don't know how to express your emotions. I love that you began expressing yourself and your emotions in healthy avenues or healthier avenues, you know, looking at what can I do? What do I have? What spaces can I put myself in to be able to express and, you know, like just release? And from that, you bathed out a whole...
Mind. In fact,
exactly.
the thing was just perfect. You were just getting what's in my mind.
Exactly, pretty much. Which is really, really awesome, guys. I hope you're enjoying this show, man. This is Icon Radio, the Afterthought. If you love this conversation, please let us know down below in the comments section. Please connect with Minor Mind on his social medias. You know, like, it's content that is really good. You know, I'll put you on something that's really, really good. I wouldn't tell you to do something that's not good. Okay, so follow him, like his stuff, share his stuff, and also like, share, comment Icon Radio KE on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those amazing places. Tunu app, download the app today. Follow them on their social, Tunu_254. That is their handle, Tunu_254. And make sure you do the yo-yo challenge, guys. Do yo. Have a good one until we meet again in our next installment of the Afterthought.